Yo, welcome ladies and gents to the 5th installment of the MetsBeat podcast, brought to you by Gotham Gold Limousine, streaming live from govsradio.com. I'm B-Mel, sitting in with the homie D-Train. We have a dynamite show for you. We're talking Mets, Yankees, the Indians win streak, my problems with ESPN, though I might just leave it at that. But first, I'd love to touch on the subject that's near and dear to my heart, and that's the situation my mentor Craig Carton has found himself involved in, and the reason we felt inclined to pay homage and respect to him with the intro he's used for the past decade on the #1 sports show, period. First and foremost, I want to say that I'm thinking of him and his family, and I hope they get through this difficult time safely and smoothly. Second, my thoughts go out to the rest of the morning show staff, Eddie, Al, Jerry, Bobby, Boomer, all who have done just an excellent job not missing a beat while their usual conductor is in a legal battle and officially resigned from the show. During my time at WFAN, Craig was my strongest supporter and the earliest professional mentor I have ever had. He looked out for me from day one. He gave me my first break not only on radio but on TV as well. He always had an open door policy. He let me pick his brains on show prep, and he gave me plentiful amounts of airtime with any sports songs I came up with. Stat Mellow, Uranus Hits Another, blah, blah, blah. All that said, the man that I knew personally is as kind-hearted as they come, and I'm beyond taken back by the legal allegations. Well, I don't believe the feds do anything without proper cause. Because of that personal relationship with him, albeit a few years prior to this, I have to allow that legal process to work itself out before making any actual judgments. And at this point, just stand by the fact that people are innocent until proven guilty. This is a guy who inspired me to get into radio in the first place, took me under his wing when other people wouldn't even look in my direction, so my loyalty to him goes very, very deep. My heart goes out to his family, especially his 4 kids. Craigie, the real B-Mel, and the MetsBeat podcast wishes you a speedy journey and a resolution through this difficult time. With that said, I want to jump into the Mets, who are 63-82, going into a game with the Cubs tonight. They've lost 7 out of their last 12 and are fresh off the heels of the most recent Matt Harvey disaster, where he got smacked around for 7 hits, 4 walks, 2 runs in 3 1/3. D-Train, I've kept the train in for too long. My bad. What is your general thoughts on the Metropolitans?
Wow, the Mets right now, I mean, they're just, they've crashed and burned as a whole. I think all you're looking forward to is next year, keeping your lines, your stats as good as possible for future teams, resume building, if you will. But overall, I don't know, man. It is a lost cause. It's a lost cause for Harvey. It's his contract year, and he's not going to get a good deal. I mean, all you can do is just look forward to next year.
Right, and I understand that. And I think I'm finally ready to put the nail in the coffin. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to go down that road again. Just kidding. I'm going to
beat off a dead horse.
I'm going to switch gears to your Yankees in a second. I owe you that for the intro. But what do you believe the Mets need to see from Harvey and Thor this season right now?
Honestly, that they can pitch with a low pitch count and just get guys out quickly. Because once you start walking guys, that's when the pitch count gets up. And that's when these innings, just expand. And you can't have Harvey pitching 100 pitches in 5 innings. You want to see minimal effort. Get these guys out. You don't have the 95-mile-an-hour fastball. It's going to blow it by. You've seen it with CeCe. He used to be a guy like that, and now he just pitches to contact, get out of these innings, and let's go. Keep it rolling. So if they can both do that, I mean, Thor has the velocity, obviously, but Harvey needs to realize he's not who he used to be. Just get some quality starts, get 5-6 innings out of these guys, see that they can still throw the ball with command, and that's all you can ask for.
It's pretty damning to see where Harvey is, to see where this entire staff is right now. As a Met fan, I still get excited to see Harvey go out there, toe the rubber, and see what he can do, and I'm let down almost every time back. I mean, what the hell has happened to the Dark Knight? What has happened to the guy that led us to the World Series? What happened to the guy who started the All-Star game. This guy is non-existent at this point. And yeah, we're left with a question mark in Noah Syndergaard, 1,000%. And we have DeGrom up there, and I get that, and he's been phenomenal. It's such a fall from grace where we went with this staff coming from a place where we thought we had the horsemen and we had the best staff that baseball has ever seen. And for my money, I don't want to see Thor come back this year. I think that back injuries can linger. There's no reason for him to come back from more than one start. I think it should be a good faith start. Go out there, do what you do, even if it's for 4 or 5 innings. There's no reason to push Syndergaard right now. Rest him for another 4 months. Let the back heal. There's no reason to push him there. And Harvey, hopefully we can get him on a low-cost, team-friendly deal, even if it's for a year or two. He can take the offseason, work on some mechanics, and come back stronger. What do you think, D-Train, about sitting Syndergaard, shutting him down for the rest of the year, maybe just doing a for the fans one start?
I mean, you can't make decisions based off the fans. The last
Agreed.
2 times the Mets made decisions based off the fans, both went south really quickly. One of them being the sending Harvey out for the 9th inning of that Game 5. In my opinion, you should have went to Familia.
Right.
Fans want Harvey. Fans were chanting Harvey. Fans would have stormed the field if Harvey didn't come out onto the mound. And then the signing of Cespedes, the guy who won the pennant for you. You gave him an ugly contract. So
I don't think that's an ugly contract.
I think he's grossly overpaid for his production as far as, or really his effort. I feel like he puts in like 70%.
Listen, and I don't mean to cut you off. I'll throw it back to you. I don't think it's an ugly contract. It may be on the higher side, but that lineup is drastically different with and without him in that spot. Okay, and I get it. Does he come with full effort all the time? No, probably not. Do we need him to stop golfing maybe a little bit? Yeah, probably. But the lineup is totally different. This was a World Series team coming in, and to be a World Series team going forward, he needs to be in it. It's about time that the Wilpons paid for something. They could never have let Yoenis leave. No way.
Right. Now, as far as letting Syndergaard have another start, though, no, just shut him down. You could throw a bullpen session. You could have simulated games. Now, obviously, it's not real gameplay. If there's anybody that should get an inning to play, it's David Wright, and he can't even pick up a bat right now. So I think if you're really serious about being a contender next year, because they don't have to tear it down and rebuild. They're not, they came into this year as a contender. They could enter next spring as a contender. And if you push it and then he goes down again, how horrible does that look? I mean, at that point, Sandy's job he's on the hot seat, let alone TC.
Sure. And I appreciate that. And I do think that they should shut him down. I wouldn't be upset. You know what? I probably should have rephrased it. You shouldn't tow him out there for the fans. As a fan, as me, I'd like to see him out there for one start. But if you told me that we're going to shut him down for the year, we're going to make sure he's ready for next year, we're going to rest his arm a little bit, I have no issue with that. I have absolutely no issue with that. I know it's a lost year. Like you said, they're still playoff contenders. We're going to retool. We come back. There's no reason to push them. So when I told you I was going to switch gears, I'm trying to keep you involved because I know that you want to talk about your beloved Bombers. I know you want to talk about them. So, and I know I came in with the lengthy intro. So talk to me about the Pinstripes, who are 3 out from the Sox. Go ahead. Wax poetic.
It's great because this time last year the roles were really reversed, and there was no talk of Yankee baseball, and this is a Mets town, this and that, and the Yankees were at least 3 years away from even playoff contention. And we come into this season with historic spring training numbers, which everyone always says that's never a good thing. It means nothing. But the Yankees threw a combined no-hitter in spring training. Judge homers in his first spring training at bat. You lose Didi during the World Baseball Classic, so you come into the season without your shortstop there. They lose opening day. You lose Sanchez in the first week of the season, but they finished the season tied for first at 15. Finished the first month of the season tied for first. And as the Yankees moved along in the month of May, they kind of slowed down, but they showed you good comebacks, a good drive in the team.
as the Mets were just plummeting,
Right.
spiraling, torpedoing.
Well, not at that point.
Oh,
not
yeah,
in May.
it was at that point. It really was. It started then.
Right.
It
But
started.
now the Yankees are really in the position to make that run. In baseball, it's not
They are.
about being hot all season. It's about getting into the party and getting hot at the right time.
Correct.
So right now they have 3 guys that could really start a postseason game any given night and give you a solid performance, that being Luis Severino, Masahiro Tanaka, and Sonny Gray.
Right.
Now, Sonny Gray has always been a victim of no run support with Oakland, and now again with the Yankees not even putting up runs for him. So between the 3 of them, then you got CC Sabathia and Jaime Garcia, who are both seasoned veterans, both postseason experience, both World Series champions, with the addition of Jordan Montgomery
Right.
in the bullpen for you. He's led the American League rookies in strikeouts this season. So, I mean, that's before you even get into the bullpen. You got
Right.
Aroldis Chapman closing games. Behind him, you have David Robertson. In front of him, you have Tommy Kahnle,
Right.
Shane Green, Chad Green. These guys are absolutely lights out right now. I think as long as the Yankees can keep it the way they're playing right now, they're just winning series. They're not sweeping everybody. They're not winning 5, 6, 7 in a row or 21 in a row like somebody
Sure.
else right now. But you win that wild card. You're not as stoked as you are, but you got in the playoffs.
Listen, you just got to get there. Give me a high level overview of how the Sanchez. God, I can't believe I did that. I just we went over that. How's the Sanchez doing? How's Judge doing? Has Sonny Gray been since the trade? Just give me a high level.
I mean, Sonny Gray has one of the lowest ERAs in the league since the All-Star break, but yet he's 3-5 with a 2.66 in his 8 starts
To
with the
go to
Yankees.
your no-run support. Okay.
Right. But Sanchez, despite missing 30 games this year, he still has, I believe, the highest average RBI total and home run total amongst all catchers in major leagues. So it's always great to see that from him. Although Judge did hit that horrible slump where the guy was hitting under 200 after the break, only a dozen homers or so after the home run derby. He's really turned it back on. He's really, he's getting back into it, and he's always been a solid right fielder, so you can't complain about that. And as long as, even if the season were to end today, he'd have 90 ribbies, 40 homers, and a 240 batting average. That I could live with as a rookie season.
He's at what, 41 home runs?
He's at 41.
And what was our bet?
What bet?
59 and a half?
58 and a half.
58 and a half? Okay.
58 and a half.
Curious, just checking. Just checking.
But the Yankees having David Robertson, former World Series champion as well, and of course Aroldis Chapman, who pitched Game 7 of the World Series last year. These are guys that are no stranger to the big game. So even if we get that wild card, I'm not afraid of Luis Severino going out there, followed by that monster of a bullpen. I forgot Dellin Betances. There's so many guys out there that you can't even think of. Adam Warren, there's another one. So as long as they can really keep winning the series, our bench is so deep right now. But with Clint Frazier and Aaron Hicks and Ronald Torreyes and
okay, so give me, before we move on, give me some predictions. Who do you think takes the 2 wild card spots, and how do you think the Yankee season concludes?
Well, I'll give you the optimistic standpoint. I'll say that Boston winds up playing Los Angeles in the wild card game. I think Cleveland winds up falling back. So that's in the American League. Obviously, Texas will win. Houston will win the West. Cleveland will never lose again. And the Yankees take the East. Now, over in the National League is where things are crazy right now. Like crazy. Because you have Arizona and Colorado that are both in the wild card game as of, current standings. But yet, they're playing like division leaders at this point. They have more wins than the Central Cubs at 79. So you see the Cubs winning. The Dodgers and Washington have already clinched. They're in the party. Arizona and Colorado, I believe it'll remain as so, despite Milwaukee and St. Louis being so close to the second wild card. So I see Colorado winning that wild card game, going on into Los Angeles and beating the Dodgers, despite that crazy run the Dodgers went on in that 50-game span where they won over 40 games.
Correct.
Right. I think this is finally Washington's year in the sense that they get out of the NLDS. I think they got that bullpen depth that they were lacking. As long as is Harper on the DL right now?
God, I hope you're wrong. Yes,
I'm sure you hope I'm wrong, but so Harper on the DL. You hope he comes back. They have a reputable starting staff with Zimmerman, Scherzer, and Strasburg.
Yeah, they said that. Listen, they're certainly formidable. I think the Dodgers come out. The Dodgers were my pick all season. I think they win the series. I think the Dodgers are champions. I think they beat the Cubs in the NLCS. I think the Cubs kind of peter out a little bit, and they, remember how they, did the regular season a little bit, all those druthers. I think that the Yankees do lock up the wild card game. I think they, and I hope I'm wrong, I think they lose that first game. And they're kicked out of that one-game playoff.
Who are they playing in that wild card game then? Is it going to be where it's currently at with Minnesota, or does Los Angeles sneak in, or Seattle, or?
I think it stays the way it is. I think it's Minnesota. One-game playoff sucks, as you know. I mean,
right. I saw the Yankees. I saw the Yankees lose. But the thing is, when the Mets lost the wild card game, they were playing a team that had a guy that could win any day.
That.
Madison Bumgarner. Who on Minnesota's staff are you going to throw at me that the Yankees offense can't beat?
This is total gut for me. This is absolutely total gut. You came with a lot of facts. I'm coming at you with total, absolute, unadulterated gut that I think the Yankees get to the playoffs in that wild card spot and lose that game. I would love nothing. I'll say it here first. You're my co-host. I want to see you happy. My best friend is a Yankee fan. I would love to see them make an epic, deep, authentic, exciting run to the playoffs like 96, like crazy. I'd love to see a new dynasty born. I really would. Why not? Let's see a Mets and Yankees.
2020's duking it out.
Just duking it out for a decade. That would be cool as hell. You know what I mean? I don't see it happening. I think the Indians will get into next, make an early exit.
Really?
I do. I absolutely do.
Okay.
I think they make an early exit, and I think the Dodgers take the whole thing. Who they're beating, I don't know. I'm thinking Houston. I'm thinking
that was
Houston.
My original
I think it's Houston Dodgers, which is nice to see. That market get there, but I do think the Dodgers take it.
All right.
So let's switch gears.
We really should get into that Cleveland topic because I think they are really underselling the immensity behind this historic run.
I shouldn't have said switch gears. I want to go to another topic, which is the Indians. They hit the streak, which was what? It was 20 games?
Well, the American League record is 20 games.
By the A's, right?
The A's and the, I believe, the team that relocated states. I'm not entirely sure. There were two teams they tied. And now they've tied technically the Major League record at 21. Some say the record's 26 with the New York Giants, 1916 New York Giants, but there's an unofficial tie in the middle of that streak. So with me, I'm a guy that doesn't like asterisks. So
agreed, me too.
I think the Indians already have tied the Major League record.
Well, hopefully we don't have to discuss it and they'll get to 27. I'm fine with that. But why don't we chat about LeBron's comments? Do you have that clip queued up for us?
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's listen to what LeBron had to say with Cleveland tying the American League record for consecutive wins.
Yo, what up, y'all, man? There's no way I can let another day go by without shouting out the home team, Cleveland Indians, 21-game winning streak. What y'all doing right now, keep it going. I was about to say it's incredible, but I want to come back and do another video when y'all got like a 40-game winning streak. No pressure. I get it. I've had my own 27-game winning streak in the NBA before. It's a lot of pressure winning every night, man. But what y'all doing, inspiring the youth, showing the rest of the MLB what it's about, man, to come back after a devastating loss. You know what I'm saying, in the championship rounds, man. So, big shout out, man, for y'all to come back the way y'all playing right now from what happened in the World Series. So commendable. Keep it going. Cleveland pride, man. The land, the Cleveland Windians is what y'all name gonna be soon. So I might want to trademark that so I can sell a couple T-shirts or something. Put Francisco Lindor's name on it.
Right,
hey, Cisco,
I got
one of those jerseys.
LeBron is so damn phony to me, and this is another conversation for another day, maybe. But why does he have to say in the NBA? We don't all know you play in the NBA. Like, you have to say your win streak was in the NBA. Will we think it was Madden? It doesn't make any sense to me. He's a notorious Yankee fan. And it pisses me off from a lot of levels. We'll start here. I think that baseball is more difficult to win 20 something in a row than his 26 or 27. Basketball is more, if you have the best players, you're probably going to win. You can have the best players in baseball and still be shut down by one best player on the other side of the ball. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I mean, what are your thoughts on Bron's comments? I think, besides the fact that he's the most phony person, I think that's been so damn good at his sport that I've ever heard.
See, I think last year he showed you that he was nothing more than a cheerleader when he was celebrating with the whole,
Oh God, with the flexing
yeah,
and the muscle.
exactly.
And
That's the exact image I had.
You're
in my
a Yankee
head.
fan, like seriously.
But I think you still can't take anything away from the Indians, though, despite him being this little phony cheerleader.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, I mean,
at all.
Right. And I mean, I'm not saying it's not like you did, but I think it's kind of cool though, because baseball isn't as popular as some other sports, even though it's still the national pastime. You could say what you want about football and it being popular, and basketball and hockey and all that. So to see him trying to get more people involved is really nice, especially for a market like that. And I think that's why you're not seeing the hype. Now, I wasn't watching MLB in 2002 when the Oakland A's had that crazy run. I don't know how you recall it, but the way it's perceived in Moneyball, the movie with Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill, which is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Movie.
They make it seem like it was really this like national thing that everybody was on board and about. And this is 1 year removed from 9/11, so maybe, and that crazy 2001 World Series, so maybe there were more people involved watching the game. But can you recall that 2002 run? Do you remember there being hype over here on the East Coast about it?
I mean, vaguely, but if you told me, if you said talk to me about the season during 9/11, what are your thoughts? I'm going Mike Piazza.
Right.
Like that's a footnote to me. That's nothing. I'm talking Mike Piazza. I'm talking the day after. It's New York.
The streak was the following season, though. I was just referencing 9/11 to state how many baseball fans there may have been back in 02, because I'm saying they made it seem like that streak was bigger than this one.
Understood. It's inconsequential to me. And that's the short answer to me. It's inconsequential. I think you took a different stance, not an argumentative stance. I think you took a different approach to LeBron's comments, which I actually agree with. I love the fact that he's bigging up his city. My issue is, and I love that Cleveland's doing it, and like I said prior to this, I hope they get 27. My issue is with LeBron because he's just so unauthentic. He's a Yankee fan, like I said, and when he speaks, it's just like you can't believe a thing that this guy says. You talk about the land and all this stuff like that. I mean, it's just he has plans right now to leave the land. If you were that big of a homer and you loved your city so darn much, sign a 10-year contract then. I mean, you already left once, and you manufactured championships in Miami. You manufactured a championship in Cleveland, and look, Kyrie just left you. I mean, it's so telling to me who this guy is, and it sucks for me because I actually think I don't know, I'm a good judge of character. When I look at him, I think he's a good dude that is completely insecure, and he came into the league with the perspective of, I have to be just as good as Michael Jordan. When Michael Jordan's perspective was, I just have to be better than everybody I'm facing. And it wasn't about Michael Jordan to him. And LeBron is so caught up in his brand and making his world bigger and being the billion-dollar athlete and doing this, that authenticity that made Jordan exactly what he is, authentic, and everybody wants the shoes and everybody want that, he is the opposite of that. And that's my issue with LeBron's comments.
All right. Now, I guess I'll put my foot on the clutch. We'll shift gears again because we are running out of time, but there is a huge topic that we have to talk about, and it is not only the fact that we're playing each other this week in our fantasy football league, but our drafts. I mean, the big day that you wait all offseason for, pulling stats, looking at numbers, and doing mocks and this and that, and bacon wings and chicken cutlets and all that.
Shout out to my mommy.
No, so I mean, how did you feel when the draft came to an end?
It's so funny. I mean, me and the boys were talking about this before. I think you and I were talking about it. I was like, I'm gonna have to wean myself off from mock drafts. I probably mock draft before anyone, and it's out of straight boredom. I enjoy it. I enjoy the prep. I enjoy the strategy. I enjoy going into the draft with a very specific plan. And that's exactly what I did going in. I reached on McFadden. I don't think I reached on Jimmy Graham at all. The McFadden pick was a reach, but I've known this Zeke owner for a long time, and I thought he would have taken. I obviously I don't remember rounds and all that stuff. I'm just trying to recall. I was almost positive he was going to go quarterback and McFadden on the turnaround, and he didn't. And I had asked him, he's like, "No, I think you're crazy." And look, I already dropped him. So from the standpoint of strategy, I was extremely happy with my draft. The draft party itself was absolutely fantastic. I'm so happy that you got to be a part of it. You alluded to my mother making chicken cutlets.
I had no idea that came from your mom.
Sausage and peppers. Yeah, she made all that stuff.
It was slamming.
She made everything for everybody, and that's what makes stuff like that special. Being around, 11 of your closest pals and having a couple drinks, it's almost like I was comparing it to Christmas. It's more exciting than Christmas because as kids you look forward to Christmas, and now as adults, what do you look forward to? And I'm thinking it's the fantasy draft. What did you think of your draft? What did you think of this? The first time you're part of the league?
Well, I mean, I feel very welcomed by everyone. That's first off, despite the huge age gap there might be amongst.
Couldn't even tell the difference.
Right, and I mean, it felt great to really, be welcomed by everyone.
And it's not that huge of an age difference. You're talking
I know.
what, 6 years?
I think it's the fact that they're in their 30s and I'm barely in my 20s that makes it seem like such a large age gap.
Right,
but it was cool to see that these guys grow up and live lives, but can still be a kid inside and still have fun responsibly. It's awesome to see. As far as my draft is concerned, I said on Limo Talk, that's Gotham Gold Grads presents Limo Talk, the podcast that follows this show. On our last show, I said, Graz asked me what was my strategy for this year, and it was to have a strong enough draft to not need to rely on the waiver wire.
Right.
And I think out of my 3 leagues this year, the one that we have, it was my strongest draft. I was able to get Tom Brady as my quarterback. I was able to get Devonta Freeman as my running back. So I'm really happy. Who's my stud wide receiver? Crabtree? I think
you have Allen. You have Cooks.
Oh, yeah. Brandon Cooks is my number 1 wide receiver. So, yeah, between the draft, the party, unfortunately the rain that was the day of the draft, it was overall still a great day, great experience. And I'm ready to duke it out with you. Ready in week 2. As
long as you enjoyed yourself, that's great. That's what I want to hear as the commissioner. We had the trophy presentation. I thought that was a lot of fun. Going over the matchup real quick, and then we'll wrap up the show. Listen, I'm in last place right now. It was obviously just the first week. I'm not excited to face you. Of course, I have Aaron Rodgers, but Tom Brady could arguably have just as a good week. I think Ty Mott has come on. I thought Greg Olsen was a fantastic pick by you.
So late that I was able to get him.
And I've taken Keenan Allen the past 2 years. So listen, I'm a little terrified facing you this week, but hopefully I come out on the positive end and we'll talk about it. But that's it, Met fans. It's all for us this week. We look forward to this episode and previous installments on SoundCloud, on YouTube, coming soon to iTunes in the near future. Thank you, D-Train, for another brilliant production and performance. And make sure you go to GothamGoldGraz.com for any transportation needs on Long Island. I'm B-Mel saying pray healthy, stay wealthy. Peace.